Now, leaving club football, let's come back to Nigeria, where the 7th edition of the prestigious Nigeria Pitch Awards holds today in Lagos. It promises to be a glamorous edition as Nigerian footballers and other stars who have contributed to the development of football in the calendar year 2020 will be honored. Now, the CEO of Matchmakers Consults, Shina Phillips, joined me on the breakfast show to indeed take a look at the 2020 edition of the Nigerian Pitch Awards. Well, Shina, it's nice to indeed have you.
My pleasure, man.
Well, it's time once again to indeed honor Nigerian footballers, sportsmen and women who have indeed done the country proud in the calendar year 2020. What are the expectations in the 2020 edition of this award?
Okay, well, let me state very clearly that the Nigeria Pitch Award has a tradition, very unique character. We built this particular platform on credibility, on integrity, and that's what we've maintained from inception of this particular awards. So what are the expectations? I always state and restate very clearly that we always hope to see the best man win because of the unique pattern of voting that we have, wonderful college of voters. We are always very sure, confident that at the end of the day, the best man will always win. You know, having in the different categories of all the different nominees, that at the end of the day, you're sure that even the man who loses to another is celebrating the winner. So we are sure that the result will come out fair. Just as the LFF president himself said, that one thing for sure with the Nigerian Pitch Awards is spot on, but certainly, and above that is that you have fairness.
Well, from 2019 to this moment, we've seen the impacts of coronavirus.
Yes.
And at some point in time, this year's edition was meant to be held in March.
Yes.
And it was moved to December, and today is the D-Day. Taking a look at the footballers, it's been a difficult year also, you know, for Nigerian footballers back home. A calendar year where the Super Eagles also failed to win. What has your communication been like with the major actors from the era of this pandemic till this?
Okay, let me state first that what you see is it's the previous year's the last season, you know, put together with 2020, because we really didn't have a whole lot this season in 2020. So we have results from 2019. Usually, you know, the award ceremony comes with a Super Eagles game, and so we are built to have that ceremony in March this year, but then COVID struck. And a whole lot has affected football. Not just football, but sporting activities and, of course, entertainment industry. But then we are so determined that regardless of what we are faced with, we still have to reward, we still have to applaud and acknowledge those who have performed. Now, with the players, in my conversation with them and even the authority, it's been a very tough time for everyone. But then, being human, we are determined, you know, to overcome this. Thank God for the vaccine, hoping that it will come to Africa. But the mindset of most of the players is that we need to keep moving on. We need to, and that's why I commend TVC. Regardless of all that you're faced with, we see the true sportsmanship in you, that this station is, you know, bounce back, regardless of the odds, to say that we set out with our dreams, we set out with our vision to accomplish, and that's what Nigerian Pitch Awards stands for. And that's what Nigerian Pitch Awards, again, wants to celebrate TVC for, that against all odds, I mean, we have the station you're beaming, and many would have packed, you know, just disembark, but you're still on, and that's what we stand for too.
Well, let's now move out of the award and take a look at sports or football in the calendar year 2020. We've seen the Flying Eagles, they just crashed out, you know, of the WAF Wonder 20 Championship. What has been, you know, your take, you know, on developmental football and all that in the calendar year?
Well, my take will always remain long-term, short, medium, and long-term plan. We must plan way ahead. If we must win trophies, we need to plan. Not just plan strategic plans. That, you know, long-term plan is very essential for trophies. And that's the only way Africa can even win the World Cup. We don't plan long enough. We have wonderful talents. We have exceptional talents. But then, if you don't have a policy put in place, not just by the Federation, but even the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to say that in the next 5 years, this is our long-term plan, This is how we want to conquer the world. This is how we want to be #1 in the world. If we don't come to that point, we will suffer the form of defeat we've just suffered recently, which is pretty very sad. For a nation, about 200 million people, and a football nation for that matter, it should be a winning streak for us all the time in Africa. So it's sad. If I have to lay somebody for real, blames have to be apportioned.
Okay.
People must take responsibility, okay. And I'm sure that the Nigerian Football Federation is a responsible organization, and they should take responsibility for this defeat, and then go back to the drawing board. Every other stakeholder go back to the drawing board with the federal government to give us a long-time plan, the direction for football, to say that in 10 years. This is where we're going.
Well, one will always talk about the issue of continuity, especially when you have another administration come into office. But now let's take a look at you being a stakeholder. How does this affect the business side of sports when teams are not doing well? Recently, there have been criticism from Daniel Amokachi on the Super Eagles and all that. How does this affect the sports industry, where people say it's a huge business?
It's a mega business.
Okay.
And it's not enough for someone to be anywhere to say, okay, which of course is the same thing we get all the time. We need to go back to the drawing board. We need strategic plan. We need to see the business angle of this business. Huge business. We've not tapped into it. Not even with the sales of players. But generally, if you look at sports in Nigeria, we see it as a form of exercise, just mere exercise. It goes beyond that. But then we need to study out, look at what obtains out there. Do a careful study, thorough analysis and careful study of how they operate and how they carry out this business. Well, of course, we've got a lot of brilliant minds out here, but we are yet to put a structure in place, and we don't even have, without a structure, how can you have the right infrastructure for the business?
But the private organization is also scared, of putting their
money.
When
you have used the right word, they are scared because so far, we have not been able to, the managers of this business have not been able to present this as business to them. We run to them for sponsorship once in a while, they dash out. But we need to come up with plans and say, look, if you invest this amount of money in this business, this is going to be the turnover at the end of the day. But these are the things we need to put in place for it to work. It's not enough for us to have a state governor come put in some money without the know-how of the business itself.
Time is very, very important,
yes.
And very short. But now the sports minister, Sunday Dare, has come up with a mandate that the Super Eagles should play their next match at the Abuja National Stadium. In his own submission, he says the Eagles are nomadic. If you take a look at Kenya, they have a permanent home ground. That's the Moi International Sports Center in Kasarani. Yeah. Take a look at the Brazilians. You have the Maracana Stadium. England, you have Wembley. Yeah. But Nigeria is a different kettle of fish entirely.
I love the beauty of having to go around the entire nation to play football. Okay. It's encouraging. It is necessary. There is no disputing the fact that we have a main board that can continually entertain football matches, but for Pete's sake, football should go around the nation. If any state can afford to host the Super Eagles, beautiful. Who says that someday Borno becomes peaceful, by God's grace, that Borno State cannot host the Super Eagles? This is Nigeria. This is a democracy.
So you're saying that affords younger generation the opportunity to dream, to
we
see
need
the
more
stars.
Stadium everywhere. If we can create more and manage them very well, that's business. We need the fans. And then if the Super Eagles can be hosted by any of the states, beautiful. As far as I'm concerned, the most important thing we need is those who will beam it. And that's the business you guys are doing. So it can be in Borno State, it can be in Abuja, it can be somewhere in Bayelsa. Let us beam it.
Okay, I'll take it back to you. What many categories are you looking at
16.
in the calendar year 2020?
16. With the Nigeria Pitch Awards, we have on the pitch nominees and off the pitch. And then we have special categories like the Nigeria Pitch Awards, a Sportsmanship Award. So we have 16. This is, I think that in Nigeria, this is the only award that has all these categories like the Defender of the Year, Goalkeeper of the Year, and the King of the Pitch. So fantastic 16 categories.
Well, I must say a very big thank you.
And I also want to thank you, first before you round off, for all the media houses that sit to vote, because Nigerians need to know that it's the media that does this. Okay. We have about 100 voters across the country, editors, analysts, and all of that put together. And we have an independent verifying body that collates and comes up with a result. That's the beauty of the Nigerian Pitch Awards.
Many thanks, Shino Phillips, for being